So to no one's surprise, Elon Musk is not a good guy and was playing both sides of something. Oh my god! So Elon offered Ukraine access to global internet, satellite internet. Now, once again, he didn't offer it for free. He was being paid by America to do so. And the man who is friends with a bunch of Russian billionaires, turns out he was playing both sides. It came out he cut internet to stop a drone attack on a naval fleet. And I can guarantee, as someone who was an Air Force intel analyst, I like throwing that around, that we haven't heard the end of this. This is the most obvious one that he got caught with, but we are going to hear that Russia had inside on all of that internet traffic and that they were using it to track movements. Just wait. And that Elon probably got paid by the Russian billionaires in some way or another to do so. Literal Bond supervillain here. Gotta love it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The neocons and the neoliberal left are currently losing their minds right now over Elon Musk, basically averting World War III. Now, Elon Musk in the past has been engaged in electromagnetic warfare with Russia. Okay, they actually shut down an attempted electromagnetic warfare attack on Ukraine last year. And like I stated at the time, I actually made a video about that. Elon Musk is arguably the most powerful man on the planet, right? This guy in his technology has the Pentagon like, yo, this is the real deal Holyfield, okay? I mean, NASA is depending on him to try to go to the moon, to go to Mars. He's a leader in developing electric cars, which is supposed to fight climate change, allegedly, right? He is a guy that the left should love. However, the left hates Elon because Elon Musk is also an independent thinker. There's no doubt in my mind he's a classical liberal. But again, in today's Democrat Party, being an anti-war classical liberal is a bad thing, right? You might as well be a conservative right-winger, okay? That is basically how the left has characterized Elon Musk because he wants to restore free speech to the internet. And that is kind of what he's done with buying Twitter and rebranding it as X, okay? And that is why certain groups like the NAACP and the ADL, whose main missions are censoring anybody or any organization that disagrees with them politically, aka anybody who disagrees with the Democrat Party. You also have Biden weaponizing the Justice Department to go after Elon as well too, like he does with his Republican political enemies like Trump, as they're suing SpaceX for refusing to hire illegals, right? Again, this is the Biden Justice Department, okay? And one of the reasons why Elon Musk is receiving a lot of hate is not just because of him wanting to restore free speech to the internet, but it's also because, again, he's anti-war, and he has spoken out against this supporting of the war in Ukraine, okay? Ukraine versus Russia. He wants a peace agreement like I think that most reasonable Americans want. We want peace because we see the writing on the wall that this could lead to a nuclear war in which millions of people could lose their lives, and the United States can be dragged in it, and millions of Americans can lose their lives. I mean, this could be the end of the world. I mean, I'm so serious. I mean, I do believe in mutually assured destruction. So any type of nuclear attack from Russia could drag the United States into a nuclear holocaust. And Elon Musk, who is the creator of Starlink, which has been providing services to Ukraine, actually decided to use Starlink against Ukraine when he thought that a Ukrainian sneak attack would result in Russia starting a nuclear war.
Yeah, Phil, so this is an excerpt of a biography written by Walter Isaacson that was obtained by my colleague Sean Lingus, and it really provides a new window into Elon Musk's thinking about Starlink's role in the war in Ukraine. Now, as you said, according to this biography, Musk did, in fact, order his engineers to turn off Starlink satellite communications for the Ukrainians when they were trying and planning to launch a sneak attack on Russia's naval fleet around Crimea. According to the biography, that was because he he had spoken to Russian officials, and he believed that doing so could prompt a response by Russia that was akin to a, quote, mini Pearl Harbor, and that Russia might actually respond by using nuclear weapons. And it also kind of delves into his ambivalence about using Starlink in a war setting writ large. He said, quote, "How am I in this war? Starlink was not meant to be involved in wars. It was so people can watch Netflix and chill and get online for school and do good, peaceful things, not drone strikes." Now, according to this excerpt, Ukrainian officials begged him to turn the satellites back on, and he actually had a conversation with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, as well as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, about the anxieties that Washington had about Starlink's power and, of course, how he was kind of turning it off and on. But really, this just underscores how powerful Starlink is and how important Elon Musk and his services are to the U.S. government and the Ukrainian government.
And a lot of people on the left are pissed off with this.
Nope, treason. Lock him up. Lock him the up. Listen, you twisted, sick-minded, rich prick. You want to spend your billions on a stupid platform to try to sway the population into believing what you believe? Well, that's one thing. Putting the men and women of the armed forces of Ukraine's lives at risk by their internet is something that you're not going to do. I'm going to tell you that right off the jump. Please, one of you Elon Muskovites, tell me how this could be considered anything but treason or an act to help Russia at a time of war. Please, I'm dying to hear it. This mother has some random backdoor meetings with Vladimir Putin, and all of a sudden Ukrainians' internet starts going down as they're attacking the Russian fleet? I don't think so. So listen, I don't know what they call this in South Africa, where you're from, but in the United States of America, this is called treason. This is called helping the enemy. This is called go f yourself. Slava Ukraine.
Let's get something straight. It's not your job to try and figure out ways to de-escalate this war, any more than it's the CEO of Lockheed Martin or the CEO of General Dynamics. You are a military contractor. You provide a service that you are paid for. And make no mistake, Starlink is paid for. The Department of Defense and the U.S. Agency for International Development have been paying Elon Musk's company Starlink for internet services in Ukraine. And the fact of the matter is he is single-handedly, as CEO, undermining Ukraine's capability to use Starlink in a military capacity, which undermines U.S. national security interests. Period. It is a stated national security interest by the president, by the Department of Defense, and the Department of State that Ukraine eject Russia from its territory. And Elon Musk, this CEO of a company, has taken it upon himself to say that he turns off the capability for Starlink to connect to unmanned surface vehicles when they're en route on mission. That is a violation of national security contractor protocol, and the fact that the U.S. isn't doing anything, which I'm pretty sure they probably are, but the fact that the U.S. isn't publicly doing anything is surprising to me. This would be like if Lockheed Martin said, we don't agree with whatever war was being fought, so we're not going to allow you to take off in the F-22. Or General Dynamics says, we're going to turn off the fire control mechanisms for the Abrams tank. When you sign a contract with the U.S. government in a military capacity, the understanding is that you hand over your equipment over to them for them to use in national security interests. And that is exactly what Elon Musk did when he took the government's money. And now he is being shitty about it and undermining the national security interests of the U.S. government by just randomly shutting off, or not randomly, but by willingly shutting off the network capability for unmanned surface vehicles as they're en route to potentially destroy Russian assets. And he does this because he is, one, a coward, scared of a nuclear escalation, which hasn't happened and won't happen, period. And two, is a Russian echo chamber via Twitter because he has business interests in Russia, in getting various minerals and selling whatever he can sell there. He is a Chamberlain-esque peacenik type that is fine if you want to be that, but when you sell your equipment and your technology to the U.S. government and the military, you sign on for it being used in a national security interest capacity, and that is what it is being used for until you personally, as CEO, undermine that, which is a violation of probably the law and definitely your contract. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this, because flat out shutting off military technology when you have signed on to be a military contractor is unprecedented.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that is treason, okay? And one of the reasons why I'm not sure if it's actually treason is because we have not officially declared war on Russia, okay? So I'm not sure how you could define Elon Musk turning off Starlink to avert a nuclear war as treason when we're technically not at war with Russia. We have not declared war on Russia, so I'm not sure if he's actually really aiding our enemies, right? When Russia technically is not our enemy. It is a proxy war, no doubt, but a proxy war is not an official declaration of war. Proxy war is basically just using other people to fight our war without actually really declaring war on the people we actually really want to fight, right? I mean, that's just kind of how it is. But if the upset liberals want to accuse Elon Musk of treason, okay, fine, right? I'll do an exchange. We can try Elon Musk for treason as long as we try Nancy Pelosi and General Mark Milley for treason as well, too, for their actions in the wake of January 6th, trying to overthrow Trump's constitutionally granted, God-given role as commander-in-chief of the United States military, right? So again, until we try General Milley and Nancy Pelosi, okay, I don't think that what Elon Musk did was treason, okay? Elon Musk claims that he reserves the right to turn off Starlink, okay? Even if you purchase it, he reserves the right to turn off the service, because Starlink is not only just the satellites and the device used to connect the internet, but they also have to actively pay for the internet service itself, right? And Elon Musk is saying, look, we can turn it off anytime we want to turn it off. And he's claiming that he never intended for Starlink to be used as a weapon of war, in which I actually believe him, because initially when Russia invaded Ukraine, Elon Musk actually donated a ton of Starlink units to restore communications that they lost, okay? And I don't think that initially he thought that the Ukrainian government would then turn around and use Starlink for the purposes of an offensive war, right? So actually going on the offense and attacking Russia, not just defending themselves, not just for private use, just so that the citizens there could have access to the internet. I don't think he thought that eventually, again, it would become critical infrastructure for Ukraine in regards to actually launching offensive attacks against Russia. I don't think that he thought that. However, I believe that he was dragged into it, okay, and was put in a very awkward position once the U.S. government actually started paying for it, okay, because they eventually started paying for it, and now he's providing the service on taxpayer dime. And the Ukrainians and the liberal left are upset. Like, they're literally furious, right? They're furious over the revelation that Elon Musk basically stopped the Ukrainians from launching a sneak drone attack on a Russian naval fleet in Crimea. And Elon Musk's reason for doing that was that, well, I thought that maybe this would escalate us into a nuclear war. And Elon Musk, who I would define literally as a rocket scientist, okay, is smart enough to realize that in the event of a nuclear war, everybody's gonna die, right? Everybody's dead, okay? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, but Elon Musk, being a literal rocket scientist, was smart enough to know that a nuclear holocaust is probably not good for business, right? It's probably not good for SpaceX. It's not good for Tesla. It's not good for Starlink. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the world. So he decided that, you know what? From an ethical perspective, I need to step in and interfere in order to avoid a nuclear holocaust. So he's facing a whole lot of moral questions that I believe he was naive to not believe that he would eventually be used as a defense/military contractor. I mean, like, bro, you build rockets for a living, right? You don't think that the U.S. government is going to use you in some way as a military weapon or in some capacity as a military contractor? Of course, you had to know that that was going to come, right? Once humanity actually really is in space, where, going into space is actually really a normal thing, you're going to have space warfare. Okay. And being a leader in space travel or going to space, of course, SpaceX will be used for war, right? Of course, in the future, definitely 100%. He should have known. But again, I don't know if what he did was right or wrong from the perspective of, well, hey, you are providing the service. And if you're going to turn off the service at will, then you might as well not provide the service at all. Okay. I mean, if that's what you're going to do, right? If you're going to turn it off at will, then don't provide the service. Okay. I'm not saying he's wrong for what he did. I'm not saying he's right for what he did. I honestly don't know. That's a moral question and a position I would never want to find myself in. Right. So I understand where he's coming from in the anxiety behind the fact that he could be facilitating a nuclear holocaust, or what could lead to a nuclear holocaust, right? I mean, that is a position that I would never want to be in. So I understand it, but I just do think that from the perspective of somebody buying a service and paying for a service and expecting that the service is going to work when it needs to work, regardless of how I feel about the war, I do think that if you're going to provide a service, then you can't just turn it off at will. Okay, you have to either provide the service and keep it on, right, as long as they're paying for it, or you just decide that, hey, you know what, we're not involved at all. Ukraine can figure it out on their own with the United States government in regards to how they're going to communicate, okay? We're not involved in this, right? We're going to use our satellites for peaceful purposes only. Peace and goodbye, right? I'm just saying. I that's my takeaway from this. I don't blame him for what he did. I just believe that if that's what you're going to do, then you should just stop providing the service at all, right? But otherwise, if you're getting paid, then you probably should keep it on for better or for worse. Not the position I want to be in. I'm just saying that's my perspective on it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.